was an extremely rough journey. More than 2 weeks of stormy weather. The ship in which St. Paul was being taken as a prisoner to Rome was in danger of being wrecked. As certain inmates of this ship tried to escape in a lifeboat, Paul cried out, "Except these abide in the ship, ye cannot be saved." Trusting the words of this man of God, the centurion commanded that the lifeboat be cut and set adrift. All 276 souls remained aboard the ship, resting on a promise made to Paul by God. In their wisdom they thought that even as the 276 were preserved, the ship too would be preserved. But God's ways are not man's ways. The ship ran aground and the hinder part was broken up. The forepart was stuck and immovable. After the promise of safety, the ship was wrecked. The centurion commanded that those who could swim to swim across to the island nearby, while the rest were to use boards and broken pieces of the ship to reach dry land. In this way all 276 souls went safely to land, but the ship had been wrecked. What was the purpose of God in permitting the ship to be broken, destroyed? God had this island upon his mind even as he had revealed it to Paul. God wanted to manifest his love and power in this place. But why had the ship to be broken? The goal was Rome, and a new ship that could challenge the rough weather was needed. If the ship had not been wrecked, there may have been constant patching up until the ship was too dangerous to travel in. God's ways are ways of wisdom and so different from ours. This ship signifies the plans we think of, for God's will to be worked out in our lives. We begin to love our ship even more than our lives. We fast and pray for the preservation of it. But remember, in God's eyes we are more valuable than our ship. Our pet schemes which we think will enable us to fulfill God's will in our lives. Our walk with the Lord is of more importance to him than our works for him. So when he sees our works for him are hindering our walk, our fellowship with him, he will permit failures and disappointments in our human endeavors. But if we lead our lives according to his will and by his grace, we won't need to face the agony of defeat. So let us take heed lest he sends a storm to break our ship and we find only the deep blue sea below us. Then we will have to reach the shore on driftwood. God's ways may seem cruel and strange. At such times there may be no visible signs of his presence with us, but underneath are his everlasting arms. He can protect us in the storm. His mighty arm will use anything to carry out his eternal plan in our lives. Let us bear in mind that we belong to God and that he is our master. When we are rooted and grounded in this assurance, and joyfully accept the breaking of our ideals, God will not only save us, he will save others through us.